beats in your face.
M stands for my Front Mondial Money Box. It is a self-managed global social financial network. Traditionally, in South Africa, we would relate that to a stock fair. So M, in reality, in the South African context, is a stock fair. Now, it is a community which provides financial help to its participants based on the principle of mutual benefit, generosity, and goodwill. In other words, anybody who wants to benefit from M must be an official participant. In other words, you've got to register and become an official participant. And so the purpose of the entire M concept is to share financial capacity amongst ourselves as members. Okay, let's move on. And just like I said earlier on, that money exchanges hands without a central banking system. In other words, you provide me with money and I provide you with money. The M system sits in the center, in the epicenter, and administers how members provide help and get help. So M is a social network that connects the one who wants to donate money with the one that wants to get the money. Participants transfer money directly into each other in a peer-to-peer system, which is friend-to-friend system, with no central account to collect your money. When you are in that particular space, activities that are undertaken in that space allow you to connect to the M community. Also, the participant provides help, which is the PH, remember the code name, and the participant can also get help, which is what we call the GH. Okay. Providing help. When you declare the willingness to PH by clicking the Provide Help button in your web-based personal office, remember you are now inside your space, your office. There are two big buttons that you will see when you open up your office. There is Provide Help button and there is Get Help. The Provide Help gives the participant an opportunity to express their willingness to contribute a certain amount of money. The Get Help, which is the orange button, allows the participant to express their willingness to withdraw a specific amount of money. So you provide money and then you get money. Okay. Now, it says here, your account will be credited with Mavro. Mavro is the internal currency for the M system. Your Mavros will then start growing from the moment of the deposit, which we also refer to as our contribution, at a rate of 30% per month. So, becoming 13,000 Mavros in 30 days. It's up to the participant. Should they want to withdraw or get help of 13,000 rand, the system will give you that kind of help. Otherwise, some people will say, let me just take perhaps 30% of the Mavros, which is the 30,000 rand, and still retain my 10,000 rand on the system. Okay. There are a couple of benefits for being a participant and a member of M. Benefit number one is the provision of help when you provide help, when you start the process, remember, you register. Number 2, you log into your platform, into your private space, using your username and your password. And then when you are inside the system, you decide how you want to provide help. You could either use our South African rand, which is ZAR, or you could contribute by means of bitcoins. We'll talk about bitcoins later, but bitcoins are a digital currency which was started around 2008 by a Japanese genius called Satoshi. Now, this is typically money that only runs on the internet. They also refer to it as a cryptocurrency because it is encrypted, it is hidden with computer codes, so that the sender and the receiver are the only two people that know what they are doing. The rest of the other people, no matter how much they try and snoop into that transaction, it is impossible. Okay? So this is the Bitcoin, but we'll talk about it later. It's a currency. Yes, it can be exchanged with other major currencies in the world. It's trading at a present day rate of 1 Bitcoin being equivalent to 7,300 rand as of today. Okay. Now, whatever you provide there will be converted into mavros. And your mavros are the ones that are going to grow at a rate of 30% per month. Okay? So that's benefit number 1. So whatever amount a participant decides to contribute to Triple M, whatever they've contributed will attract a growth of 30% per month. The second benefit that we get from Triple M is the first time registration bonus, which is given in US dollars. Okay? We'll talk more about it in the next slide. Number 3, invite people directly and earn referral bonuses, 10% of their total contribution. In other words, if you become a member, then you introduce other members, friends, colleagues, relatives. When they come on board, when they register, they will come through into the system via your unique username, which is your email address. Then they are slotted underneath you in your space, in your private space. By so doing, you will attract 10% of their total contribution. If a person A is already on the system and they introduce person B, and person B comes on board at 15,000 rand, person A will get 10% of 15,000 rand, which is 1,500. That amount of money will be credited into your mavros. And because it has been credited into your mavros, it will also automatically start growing. So in other words, if you are an industrious person and you continue to bring as many people as you possibly can, every contribution in terms of the 10% will also be loaded into your mavro space, and it will continually start growing. Okay. The fourth way in which we could benefit through this wonderful Triple M program is to become a manager and earn up to 9 levels deep of the leadership bonuses. Here is a scenario. Let's imagine I am not a manager and I introduce you, my sister. I will get 10% of your contribution. If you are coming on board on 10,000 rand, I will be given 1,000 rand, which will be credited into my mavros. But then, should you introduce my brother at the back, my sister, you introduce my brother at the back, you are the one entitled to getting the 10% of his contribution, but I would not get anything. And should my brother also extend and bring someone else on board, he is the one entitled to getting the 10% of the new participant, and you're not getting anything. Okay. Should you then decide to be a manager, the following will happen. Say I have become a manager. I introduce you. I will get 10% of your direct because you are my direct referrer. I'll get 10% of your contribution. Then you introduce my brother at the back. You will get the 10% from my brother, but I will get 5% from him. Because why? It's because I'm a manager. He goes on, he recruits someone else. He gets 10% of their direct referral. You don't get anything because you are not a manager. But I will get 3% of his referral of the referral. So a manager will then get these leadership bonuses up to 9 levels deep. You are level 1, he is level 2, level 3, 4, 5, up to level 9. So that's a wonderful, really wonderful structure. Managers are entitled to all these benefits up to 9 levels deep. Okay, let's move on. We spoke about the registration bonus a little bit earlier. After having registered and making the first donation, and I want you to take note of the first that it is the first donation, the participant receives a bonus in the amount of the following. Okay? You will receive an amount of $20 US. It will be credited in your Mavros if the donation you have made as an individual is from 500 Rand to 4,999. Okay? Should a participant donate 5,000 Rand up to 29,999, you are eligible to getting $50 US credited in your Mavros. And should your donation be more than 30,000 Rand and above, you will be credited with $100 US in your Mavros. And I also want to say that this amount of money also begins to grow because it's been credited in your Mavros. Remember, our Mavros are the internal currency of the MMM system. Okay. We spoke about becoming a manager by finishing a 10 days online course and then getting an eligibility to earn the leadership bonuses. Okay. So there's a 10-day course that one is going to undertake. And if you're successful in that course, you will be given initially the status of being a foreman and subsequently the status of being a manager. Okay. Now, adjacent to the structure are the percentages, the 9 levels I spoke about earlier on. The 5%, the 3%, 1%, 0.5, 0.25, 0.1, 0.05, 0.03, 0.01. This is the ninth level. Briefly talk about the Bitcoin. The Bitcoin is referred to as our access to the global community. It is a consensus network that enables a new payment system and a completely digital money. We spoke about the fact that the Bitcoins are strictly digital. They only work on the digital platform on the internet. So it's money which is only in the internet. So it's virtual money, you can't touch it. You can't say, I've got a Bitcoin, there it is. So it is electronic, it is worked in an electronic platform. It is the first decentralized peer-to-peer payment network that is powered by its users with no central authority or middleman. For example, should I decide now I want to give my sister a donation of Bitcoins, she must have a Bitcoin account. Because if she does not have a Bitcoin account, then that means the process of sender-receiver will never be fulfilled. Because I have a Bitcoin account, and she also has a Bitcoin account, we can decide, the two of us, to do a transaction. And no one else in the whole world will ever know that we have done a transaction, because it's a private, peer-to-peer, friend-to-friend type of a transaction. And now there are so many organizations where one can register to get their Bitcoin account. Okay, we've got a company called Altcoin account, so Altcoin trading account in South Africa. You also have a Zappo, you have blockchain, and so many other companies. So you can choose in which of these organizations you would like to set up your Bitcoin account, so that you are able to send money and receive money. So you can only send money and receive money when you've got Bitcoins, a Bitcoin account. Is that understood? Okay. So from a user perspective, Bitcoin is pretty much like cash for the internet. Indeed, it is cash for the internet. Okay. So why do we, as Triple M, choose to use Bitcoins? Well, the Bitcoins are growing in popularity and in demand. We are still yet to see an upsurge in the growth in the demand of Bitcoins in South Africa in the next coming few years. The Bitcoins are easy. That means they're person to person, easy to use. You send Bitcoin from your computer, your tablet, your smartphone, or other devices to anyone, anywhere in the world, day or night. Okay? They are very secure. They have a strong cryptography, okay, which is what we call the encryption. Those that do IT know what cryptography is. Bitcoin verifies transactions with the same state-of-the-art encryption that is used in banking, military, and government application. To encrypt is to hide, okay? So I can be talking to my sister on the phone and someone else can be listening because the line is not encrypted. But when the senior intelligence officers in different governments are communicating online, you can't tap into their lines because the line is encrypted. You understand that? It's hidden. All right? However, the Bitcoins are fully decentralized. They are open. It is an open source. Nobody owns it. The most popular client is maintained by a community of open source developers. Minimal and fair fees. Using the Bitcoin network is free, except one can use to speed up transaction processing. Okay. Now, how do we start participating in Triple M? The first and foremost activity is to open up the website. We've got it there, RSA-mmm.net. Then click on the registration button as the red arrow portrays. Okay? A form of this nature pops up, which requires you to fill in your name, your email, your cell phone number, your Skype address if you have, but it's not really a prerequisite to put your Skype address. Your Facebook, again, is not a prerequisite. And here's something critical, invite. Invite is the person that is inviting you, okay? So that you may be plugged into their network. The email of the leader, which is not really critical. The phone number of the leader, which is not critical. Then you've got to enter this picture code there. Tick here to say you have read the requirements, the fine print of Triple M, then click register in Triple M. Okay. Now, be aware of the risk. Okay, we talk about risk mitigation all the time. Those that want to start businesses must also look at not only opportunities, but also look at the risk of business. Okay. But Triple M, remember, is not a business, but a stokvel, a community of people that are participating together in a financial exchange program. Triple M is a community of peer-to-peer money exchange. Thus, Triple M only distributes money among its registered participants, connecting the donor and the recipient. Therefore, in order that the mutual aid process may be beneficial and not be stopped, the number of participants donating money should generally increase. And that's the reason why you have been invited here, so that we can increase the number of participants in Triple M Global. The community constantly works to improve the reliability of the mechanisms of mutual assistance. However, it may happen that those who have donated money may not receive help back. There are some instances that, such a scenario can happen. Therefore, it is critical to note that we encourage people to donate into the system using their spare money only. Okay. However, for many years of operation, we had proven the system's reliability, and Triple M has implemented other mechanisms to prevent this from happening. Why? Because of the organizational motto, which is the help for humanity is our greatest goal. Okay, let's move on. So how do you start? Starting is very simple. Number one, you determine how much you would like to donate to the Triple M system. Number two, determine the currency of donation. Do you want to do it in Bitcoins, in BTC, or in Rand, ZAR? Have your email address and password ready. Have your mobile line, your MTN, Vodacom, Cell C, 8 ready. Have your inviter's address, email address ready. Visit Triple M RSA triplem.net and register by filling the registration form. After successful registration, you log into your personal office and you are good to donate. Alright? So the very first thing that one has to do, you register on the system, you get your username and password, you log into the Triple M website so you can access your private space, your private office. Once you are in your private office, it is required for you, before you provide help, to add your banking details. Enter your banking details, and from there you can move on and click provide help. This is where you express your willingness to contribute. Okay? So as you can see here, first step is to register on the Triple M website. Then you log into your private office, add banking details, select the provide help button, and you are good to go. Okay. Now, with that, we've come to the end of our presentation.